to Steampunk. This is your host, SteamPunk Bob. Before we cover our game for the week, I'd like to point out how I nearly bought Ride to Hell Retribution this week. The game may be complete garbage, but I think it would have been worth it for $6.01 to me. Sadly, Valve is smart enough to avoid selling games for 160% off, so they took away the buy button from the game's page until they got the problem fixed. All of a sudden, a Guilty Gear game was on sale instead of Ride to Hell Retribution, which leads to the situation that they apparently couldn't give away Ride to Hell Retribution. Anyway, Knytt Underground. Knytt Underground is a runny, jumpy, explory sort of game. Chapters 1 and 2 are basically tutorials for Chapter 3, which is the real meat of the game. Chapter 1, you're this mute girl named Me, who has the ability to run and jump and climb walls like Spider-Man. There are also these brightly colored energy things. They allow you one-shot special abilities. For example, the green one lets me fly for a little bit. She's off to see some fairies and hopefully gain the ability to speak. Chapter 2 is based around a living rubber ball. He could jump higher than me, use angled surfaces to bounce more directly, but isn't as smoothly controlled. I mean, he's a ball, so any irregularity in the land throws you around. Also, without hands, he can't climb walls. Chapter 3, on the other hand, has you freely able to switch between these two forms. For example, you may use an angled ledge to bounce across a really wide gap, then turn into me in midair so you can grab a wall. The setting is, I think we're tiny, non-human people who live underground on Earth. The size is mainly a guess from a comment about an avocado. Humans ate them for snacks, sprites eat them for meals, fairies eat them for weeks. Given the size difference between sprites, who we play as, and fairies, who are basically just a dot on the screen, I assume we can make the assumption that sprites are, at absolute maximum, 2 feet tall. I'd bet much smaller than that. This game is all about exploration. You're going to have a vague area to explore, and it's up to you to figure out how to get there. As far as I know, you don't gain any new exploration abilities like in DLC Quest or Guacamelee. There are sometimes keys you can find while exploring, but if you need a specific ability to get through an area, it will be available in that area. Also, unlike DLC Quest and Guacamelee, combat is barely an option. With the exception of the white power-up, there's nothing you can do about the oddly tiny battle robots the humans left around when they left the planet. Were the humans worried about weaponized house cats? Or, if the sprites are as small as my first guesses on the matter, weaponized roaches? Death isn't a big fear, though. You don't take falling damage, and even if you do touch a battle robot or fall into a pool of lava, you just reappear at the start of the room on a safe ledge. For example, in this case, I fall down several screens until, whoops, there's a pool of lava at the bottom and I fell in. I respawn grabbing the wall at the top of the room, which allows me the option of reacting to the lava properly, or climbing back up the shaft and just ignoring the area. Exploration, therefore, ends up being challenging at times, but pretty forgiving. And, especially in Chapter 3, if you can't figure out how to get through a specific area, okay, that's fine. There's a zillion other rooms you could be exploring. Just go somewhere else for now. As far as overall game quality, This comes down to, do you like games where exploration is basically the mechanic? If you don't like exploring, you will hate this game. I mean, I'll freely admit, I have moods sometimes where this game feels like a chore. Other days I'll sit down, suddenly it's 90 minutes later and the explored area on my map has doubled in size. Really, I think one of the more interesting aspects of the game is the bald transformation thing. I haven't ever run into anything quite like it in really much of anything else. Sorry, this episode is a bit short. There's just not much to this game aside from the feeling of exploration. If you like exploring, you'll like this game. The controls are tight, the mechanics are well explained. There's a whole cave complex waiting for you, so get to it. Anyway, this is SteamPunk Bob, out.